Isco Alarcón, the silky Spaniard with a wand for a left foot. After winning the Golden Boy Award in 2012, Real Madrid signed him from Malaga for €30 million in 2013. At 21, he danced past opponents with stepovers, making defenders look like they're chasing shadows, even racking up 5 Champions League titles. But something was off. Zinedine Zidane's tactics didn't vibe with Isco's free spirit, so he got benched and started beefing with his coaches. By 2022, he was sent to Sevilla, then Betis, but the magic's sporadic, injuries, weight rumors, and a dip in hunger turned him from Spain's next Iniesta to a what-could-have-been story. At 33, he's still got tricks, but the spotlight's gone. Bojan Krkić, the next Messi, number 1. Yes, because there were many of them. Bojan was cooked in La Masia's golden kitchen. At 17, he broke Messi's youth scoring records. Barca fans were sure he was the heir. Rumors of the next Messi or a better version with faster feet, slick dribbling, scoring several shocking goals, plus that I played with Iniesta aura, but somewhere between Pep Guardiola's tactical demands. And in a self-admitted battle with anxiety, Bojan's flame flickered. He bounced through Roma, Milan, Stoke, Mainz, Alaves, Montreal, and Japan, although he wasn't bad. But when you're supposed to be Messi 2.0, decent is a disaster. Giovanni dos Santos. Mexican flair? Check. Barcelona contract? Check. Career that vanished like tequila shots at a wedding? Also, check. Gio dos Santos had that samba-style swagger, and as young as he was, he still scored a banger for Spurs in a cup final, shining so bright at international tournaments. It looked like he would conquer the entire Europe and end his career as a football legend. But he only conquered LA nightlife. Clubs cared more about his off-pitch habits than his on-pitch performances. In the end, he played in more cities than he scored goals. A case of what if, wrapped in talent and tequila fumes. All right, I will be posting more videos here, so slam that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. This helps us to rank better in the YouTube algorithm. Ravel Morrison, Sir Alex's saddest sentence. Sir Alex Ferguson once said, Ravel Morrison might be the best kid we've ever signed. Wait, let that sink in. This is the man who signed Giggs, Scholes, Becca, and one of the greatest of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo. But somehow, Ravel was the best. He had everything except discipline, fights, missed training, dodgy mates, dodgier decisions. Ravel could have been England's midfield magic man. Instead, he became a passport collector, going from country to country, Lazio, Mexico, Sweden, Jamaica, back to England, back out again. Fergie knew. He just couldn't save him. Adnan Januzaj, that 1 month in 2013. Remember when Adnan Januzaj was Manchester United's season? The Moyes era. Januzaj scored a brace versus Sunderland, and Manchester United fans started calling the Golden Boy Adnan. Several clubs and countries were after him from Belgium, Albania, Kosovo, and Turkey, all fighting over him like aunties over jollof rice at a wedding. And then, silence. No scandal, no injury, just a slow decline. Why? Well, it turns out that 1 good month doesn't build a legacy, it builds false hope. His lack of consistency on the pitch really caused him his legacy. Although, Januzaj now plays in Turkey, which is basically football's waiting room. Alexandre Pato, the duck that could have soared. Pato means duck in Portuguese, and this duck could fly. At 17 years, he was ripping it up for international. At 18, he was at AC Milan. Quick, technical, cheeky smile. He was the dream. Winning the Golden Boy Award in 2009, it was clear he was going to make a mark in football's history. But then came injuries, then more injuries, then weird loan spells, then China, then Orlando. Pato, just like all other ducks, couldn't fly for long. Honestly, his career graph looks like a roller coaster, designed by an amateur. He had everything, except knees that worked more than once a week. Kerlon, the seal dribble kid, you know him, or at least you've seen him once or a few times. Where, you may ask? Well, Kerlon was a YouTube sensation many years before YouTube was cool. He invented the seal dribble, bouncing the ball on his head while running. Genius? Yes. Infuriating to defenders? Absolutely. So they broke him. Literally, opponents kicked him, elbowed him, and rugby tackled him. His injuries started piling up, and his magic act faded away slowly. He ended up playing for a club called Sliema Wanderers. I checked, it's in Malta. Not bad, but a lot more was expected from such a mind-blowing talent. Anthony Vanden Borre, the Belgian Beckham for a minute. This guy debuted for Anderlecht at 16. Strong, tall, technical. He was supposed to be Belgium's golden right back. Before the golden generation even existed, his creative playing style and tactical brilliance on the pitch made the fans and several magazines call him the Belgian Beckham. At least for a minute, it felt like he was going to live up to the hype and maybe do more. But instead of growing, he regressed. Imagine Benjamin Button, but with football skills. He was in and out of clubs. Retired at 29, unretired, then quietly vanished like a wet fart in a storm. Hachim Mastour, YouTube star, football reserve. He's the poster boy of failed hype. At 15, Mastour was juggling balls on YouTube with slow-mo music and dramatic camera angles. Then, AC Milan gave him a contract. Adidas gave him a deal. Even Morocco called him up before he played a senior match, with a lot of anticipation from the fans. Then, nothing. Turns out, juggling a ball in a garden doesn't prepare you for 90 minutes, or playing against grown men who eat raw defenders for breakfast. He played 0 games for Milan. Yes, 0. Mastour is now 26, and probably still editing his highlights on Final Cut Pro. Jack Wilshere, the Arsenal Mirage. He didn't just have potential, he was potential. Remember that night versus Barcelona in 2011? He danced past Xavi and Iniesta like he was rehearsing for Strictly Come Dribbling. He was the next England hope. Wilshere was far more than just a wonderkid. He was a wizard with several tricks up his sleeves. From speed, dribbling to finishing, he had it all. But then came the injuries. Several injuries. Jack spent more time in medical boots than football boots. By 28, he was out of the Premier League, and by 30, he retired. He later started coaching kids, teaching them how not to trust their ankles. Anderson, the happy Brazilian, he won the Golden Boy Award in 2008, playing for Porto. Then he joined Manchester United. Fans thought he'd be the new Ronaldinho, or at least another Brazilian magician, dancing through opponents like a ballerina and scoring unexplainable goals. But it turns out, he was the new Ronaldinho. If Ronaldinho forgot how to dribble and got addicted to Greggs, Anderson was lovable, but slow, injury-prone, and eventually a better meme than midfielder. Fun fact, he once got subbed on and then subbed off 10 minutes later because he was so unfit. He's now retired, possibly eating pão de queijo somewhere. Denilson, Arsenal's ghost of midfield past. Wait, not that Denilson? Not the Samba legend, the other one. He joined Arsenal at the age of 18 and was meant to be a calm, intelligent, and technical midfielder, showing amazing potential, creativity, and tactical brilliance. Instead, he became the living embodiment of sideways passes or back passes. With 0% creativity, he started strong, but faded into invisibility. At some point, people legit asked, wait, is he still at Arsenal? And yes, he was, for 7 years. Unable to make any real impact even in small games, he disappeared back to Brazil and never came back. Fran Merida, the Fabregas clone. Fran Merida was called the next Fabregas by fans and football analysts. Signed by Arsenal from Barcelona, he had all the ingredients: Spanish passport, youth academy buzz, and an amazing left foot. But unlike Cesc, Fran got lost. Lost in England, then lost in Spain, until he was lost in the football wilderness, unable to find himself in the big leagues or on smaller stages. He eventually played for Osasuna, then in China, then tried to reboot in the second division. The only thing he shared with Fabregas in the end was a shared memory of Wenger's hairdryer. Royston Drenthe, swag over substance. Real Madrid signed him in 2007. Fast, powerful, and tricky. He looked like he came out of a FIFA 08 cheat code. Another amazing Wonderkid with real potential. Compared with Barcelona Wonderkid, Lionel Messi, due to their opposing sides. The next El Clasico was set to have two amazing young talents showing off. But Drenthe had one issue. He liked rap more than tactics, so he dropped mixtapes, skipped training, clashed with coaches, and by 25, he was out of the big leagues. By 27, he was just a rapper. Literally. Career stats? Unimpressive. Lyrics? Also unimpressive. But swag? Infinite. Remember? Not every golden boy turns into gold. Matthijs de Ligt, the wall that wobbled, the Ajax golden boy. He won the Golden Boy Award in 2018 and didn't stop there, cause 2019 was definitely his year. He became a captain at 19, a Champions League semi-finalist, and even knocked out Ronaldo's Juve. Everyone thought, this is the next Van Dijk. But Dutcher, Juventus snapped him up for 75 million euros. He had the jawline of a superhero and the composure of a monk. Until Serie A happened, then came several handballs, awkward turns, and penalties. He looked less like a wall and more like a wardrobe on wheels. Not terrible, just underwhelming. He eventually moved to Bayern, then Manchester United as a free agent, where he occasionally plays, occasionally benches, and mostly makes fans say, not bad? Promise, yes. World-class dominance, still buffering. João Félix, the 126 million gamble. At 18, João Félix was the Portuguese dream, winning the Golden Boy Award in 2019. Silky, stylish, and smooth like a Cristiano croissant. Benfica gave him wings. Atletico Madrid gave him a 126 million euro move. And then, Diego Simeone gave him a tactical cage. João Félix looked like a PlayStation player forced to read IKEA instructions. Wrong system, wrong coach, wrong vibe. He floated through seasons at Atleti, then went on a weird tour. Loaned to Chelsea, where he got sent off after 58 minutes in his debut. Then to Barcelona, where he tried. And now, well, he's still João Félix, still young, still talented, but no longer the next Ronaldo. More like Portuguese Jesse Lingard with better branding. Justin Kluivert, hype with heritage. Son of Patrick Kluivert, he had the name, the haircut, the Ajax badge, and the swagger, with a legendary legacy to live up to. A perfect blend of heritage and hype. In 2018, he was nominated for the first Copa trophy. Then, AS Roma signed him like he was the new Totti. But what they ordered was totally different from what they got. He became the poster boy of decent but meh. He went from Roma to Leipzig, then to Nice, Valencia, and Bournemouth. That's not a career path. That's an airport layover schedule. He still plays, still runs, still has the DNA, but Starboy status? Long gone. Moise Kean, the Juventus comeback that never came. 2019 Golden Boy nominee, Italian powerhouse forward, exploded at Juve, went to Everton, but it didn't work out well for him. Went to PSG, kinda worked. Then back to Juve. Why though? Well, the reason for this was because, although he is still young, but every time he's on the pitch, you feel like you're waiting for something that never really happens. A spark of brilliance here, and maybe another spark later, but it was never consistent. Moise Kean is what happens when you keep hitting snooze on potential. Now, he only has moments and highlights, with decent flashbacks of his 2019 momentum. Callum Hudson-Odoi, the Bayern tease, another 2019 Copa finalist. This Wonderkid was definitely gonna be a big game changer. Bayern Munich wanted him badly. Chelsea said no. Fans were excited, filled with anticipation. England had hope. Another possible English football legend in the making. Callum Hudson-Odoi had creative runs, crazy dribbles, and crowned it all up with several amazing goals. Then came injuries, followed by more injuries. And then Tuchel said, nah, bench. But Forrest said, sure, we'll take him. Going from the next Hazard to a guy fighting for minutes at Nottingham Forest. It's giving Tragic ending vibes. Takefusa Kubo, the Japanese Messi that wasn't. Real Madrid signed him young. His unique style of play, precise dribbles, and crazy finishing made fans start calling him the Japanese Messi, but not quite true, so he was sent out on loan to play for Mallorca, then for Villarreal, and back to Real Madrid, with the cycle of loan. Rinse, then repeat. Although he's at Real Sociedad now, playing well and scoring incredible goals. But let's be honest, if you get called the Messi of anything or anywhere and ended up on La Liga highlights at 1:30 a.m., something flopped. Anthony Martial, the French prince who lost his crown. In 2015, 19 years old Anthony Martial stepped on the pitch and scored a screamer against Liverpool. What a beautiful start to his professional career, with United fans are chanting, "He's the new Henry." He won the Golden Boy Award that year by a landslide due to his cool, effortless vibe, gliding past defenders like they were cones in a training drill. But fast forward a decade, and Martial's story feels like a Netflix series canceled mid-season. Injuries piled up like unpaid bills. 1 minute he's unplayable, the next he's invisible. In general, he is seen as not bad. But when you're tipped as France's next big thing, not bad stings. Renato Sanches, the golden boy who faded to bronze. Rewind to 2016. Renato Sanches, an 18-year-old beast, is tearing it up for Benfica, winning the Golden Boy Award that year. He even got a Euro 2016 winner's medal before he was old enough to rent a car. Bayern Munich splashed 35 million euros, and he's dubbed the next Vieira. But then, the wheels fall off. A loan to Swansea turned into a comedy of errors with terrible passes and finishing. He bounced to Lille, then PSG, where he was more of a bench warmer than a ball winner. Now at 28, he's grinding at Roma. But the Golden Boy Award from 2016 feels like a distant fever dream. Mario Balotelli, Super Mario's glitchy game. Mario Balotelli, the name alone sparks chaos. At 20, he's got Inter Milan, Manchester City, and the world at his feet, winning the Golden Boy Award in 2010 with his rocket shot, swagger for days, and a knack for headlines. He won the Premier League with City in 2012, that iconic "Why Always Me" shirt flashing. But Mario's career is like a video game without a save button, having several bad decisions, red cards, and clashes with every coach from Mancini to Mourinho. Everywhere he goes, he's a highlight reel with no plot. At 35, he's now back in Italy playing for Genoa. But Super Mario's final boss was always himself, Freddy Adu, the American Pelé. In 2004, U.S. football needed a messiah. Then came Freddy Adu, a 14-year-old kid, already signed to Nike and playing for DC United. The press dubbed him the American Pelé. At 14, most of us were learning algebra, while Freddy was doing post-match interviews. The only problem was, he hit his peak at 14. After hopping around 17 clubs in 9 countries, Adu's career slowly dissolved like soda left open overnight. Never quite bad, just never great. His name became shorthand for overhyped promise. The saddest part? He still believes he's one big breakaway. And honestly, we all kind of wish he was right. If you've watched to this point, slam that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. This helps us to rank better in the YouTube algorithm.